Imagine a young woman sitting at her kitchen table. She's gone on 47 dates. 47. To every date, she says the same thing. He was nice, but he was successful, but he was kind, but there was just something missing with him. And imagine a young man. He's 38 years old. He's dated for 15 years. Every girl he dates has a flaw. This one's too loud. That one's too quiet. This one's too serious. This one is too relaxed. This girl is too ambitious or not ambitious enough. And now he's wondering, why can't I find the right person? The answer may be found in one of the greatest tragedies in the Torah. A tragedy so devastating that it destroyed an entire generation. And that is the crux of this week's parasha regarding the story of the spies. Parashat Shalach, because Rabbi Avigdor Miller, my dear Rebbe, taught that the sin of the spies wasn't merely about Israel. It was about how people see life, how people see blessings, berachot, and ultimately how people see other people. And that is the very same mistake that kept the Jews out of the land is the mistake that keeps many people out of successful marriages today. In this week's parasha, Hashem tells Moshe, send 12 leaders, the greatest men of the generation, princes they're described as, Rabbanim, Tzaddikim, righteous people, giants. For 40 days they toured the land of Israel. They returned carrying enormous fruits, a cluster of grapes so large that 2 men had to carry it. The land is magnificent. The land is beautiful. The land is fertile. The land is prosperous. Yet 10 spies begin speaking. It's true the land is good, but the people are strong. The cities are fortified. There are giants there. We can't do it. We just can't do it. And then comes the most devastating sentence. We looked like grasshoppers in our own eyes. Not in the eyes of the giants, but our own eyes. The problem wasn't the giants, ladies and gentlemen. The problem was their perspective. And here's my Rebbe, Rav Avigdor Miller's insight. Rav Miller often emphasized, the spies were not liars. That is what's frightening. Everything that the spies said was true. The cities were indeed fortified. The people were strong. The challenges were real. Their sin was not seeing the facts. Their sin was seeing only the fact. They saw obstacles and ignored Hashem's presence. That God is right there. They saw problems and ignored blessings. They saw danger and ignored opportunity. And Rabbi Miller would say, that is how people destroy their happiness. Not through lies, but through selective vision. Seeing only what's wrong, never what's right. And nowhere is that more destructive than in dating and marriage, which leads us to the dating spy syndrome. Many singles become spies, not explorers, but spies. They enter dates looking for flaws, searching for defects, conducting investigations, evaluating, critiquing, analyzing. Afterwards, they produce a report. Hey, girl I dated, she talks too much. The guy I dated, he talks too little. She left oddly. He dressed strangely. She seemed nervous. He seemed boring. Every date becomes a reconnaissance mission. And eventually, they become experts in spotting weaknesses. The spies found giants. Many singles find giants too. Only their giants have different names. She's not perfect. He's not exciting enough. She isn't exactly what I imagined. He's missing something. Meanwhile, they completely overlook kindness. They overlook character. They overlook humility. They overlook loyalty. They're blind to integrity. They don't look at the shared values. The very things that create great marriages, ladies and gentlemen, they ignore. And then something amazing happens. Kalev, one of the spies, stands up and takes the stage. And Kalev says, we can surely do it. We can conquer the land of Israel. What did Kalev see that everyone else missed? He saw the same land. He saw the same giants. He saw the same cities. But Kalev saw Hashem. He saw God's presence. He saw possibility. He saw blessing. He saw beracha. A successful marriage requires Kaleb's vision. A successful life requires Kaleb's vision, not spy vision, because every marriage contains giants. Every spouse has weaknesses. Every relationship has challenges. The question isn't whether problems exist. The question is what occupies your attention, the flaws or the blessings. Now let's talk about the grasshoppers and the grasshopper complex. The spies reported about the trip. We were like grasshoppers. Notice something remarkable, ladies and gentlemen. The giants never called themselves grasshoppers. They called themselves grasshoppers. Rabbi Miller taught that many failures begin with poor self-image. A man thinks, I'm too old. I'm not successful enough. I'm not attractive enough. A woman thinks, no one good will want me. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm too damaged. It's too late for me. And these thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. The greatest obstacle isn't outside. It's inside us. Ladies and gentlemen, the spies lost Israel before they ever entered Israel because they first lost confidence. And many people lose relationships before they ever begin them because they're already convinced. And they've convinced themselves they can't succeed. Let's analyze the following story. There was a woman who spent years rejecting wonderful men. Every suggestion had a reason. This guy's too short. This one's too tall. This guy's too serious. This one's too this. That one's too that. Eventually, a wise mentor asked, "Tell me, what exactly are you looking for?" She described the fantasy, a combination of a movie star, CEO, rabbi, athlete, and therapist. The mentor smiled. "You don't want a husband. You want a miracle." Years later, she finally married a man she initially once rejected. Luckily, a smart dating coach talked some sense into her. Today she says, "The qualities I thought that mattered didn't really matter. The qualities I almost overlooked became the foundation of our happiness." The spies did the same thing. They overlooked the grapes and obsessed over the giants. Let's talk about the complaint disease. Parashat Shalach is followed by more complaining. It became the national pastime. Rav Miller often taught, complaining, it destroys happiness. Gratitude creates happiness. Marriage works the same way. A husband notices 10 good things and one annoying thing. If he focuses on the annoyance, he'll be miserable. Wife, she notices 10 blessings and one imperfection. And if she focuses on the imperfection, she'll suffer. The happiest marriages aren't perfect marriages. They are grateful marriages. Indeed, grateful marriages. And what's behind the hidden message of the giant grapes? Why does the Torah spend so much time describing the fruit and how big it was? Because Hashem was showing them abundance. Look what I prepared for you. Look at the blessing. Look at the goodness. And yet they ignored it. How often does Hashem place blessings directly in front of us? A healthy spouse, wonderful children, a roof over our head, food on the table, friends, community, Torah. And instead, what do we obsess over? We obsess over the giants. And regarding the two surviving spies who were righteous, Yehoshua and Caleb, why did they merit to live? Because they saw reality correctly. Not because they denied problems, because they placed problems in their perspective. A successful husband does that. A successful wife does that, puts things into perspective. A successful dater does that. Surely there are human beings and see flaws, but they also see virtues. They see challenges and they also see opportunities. Essentially, they see reality through the lens of emunah, of faith. In conclusion, the tragedy of the spies was not that they saw giants. The tragedy of the spies was that they forgot Hashem. And because they forgot Hashem, they forgot how to see blessings. Rabbi Victor Miller, my dear Rebbe, taught that happiness comes from training ourselves to notice the good. The spies visited a land flowing with milk and honey, yet all they could talk about were giants. Many people see wonderful potential spouses, wonderful marriages, wonderful lives, yet all they can talk about are imperfections. And so this week, ask yourself some questions. Am I a spy? When I meet people, do I search for flaws or do I search for greatness? When I look at my spouse, do I see giants or do I see grapes?